I'm Kat, and I am the person behind two pages. One is We Are UNGIRLs, and the other one is UNGIRL Uncensored. I always struggle to explain what I am, but I guess I'm like a sex educator slash female empowerment advocate. Basically, I just want people to have better shame-free sexual experiences and just feel better about themselves. So yeah, I talk about sex a lot. I teach masturbation. Yeah, all round sex nerd, I guess. Even though I don't have that much sex, actually. So I think that's me in a nutshell. Yeah.
That sounds like us.
That sounds exactly like us. We'll talk about sex all fucking day and then not have any.
Yeah.
It just gets out of your system, actually, isn't it? Like, oh, I'm good now.
We can't talk about it all day. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're a superhero, I think, is the term for. So
yeah, the Lord's work.
Oh god, don't make me fight someone though. I will not do very well. I'm very short.
Still superhero.
No, that's better.
That's much better. Well, one of our favorite words is uncensored. We love uncensored things. And so we want to ask you all of the uncensored questions that we either have or have been getting through having this podcast. So do you want to start or do you want me to start, Cass?
Go ahead. I want to hear you read the first one.
I'm going to start with the first one. It was an email we got a while ago. So this is from a writer, Charles Dickens.
Wow, from the grave.
Imagine Charles Dickens writing this, though. I'm about to read it.
Okay.
I'm wondering if there's been any research on the topic of body's absorption of semen. Maybe it improves mood like magic elixir, or maybe it's just a mess you need a dipstick to clean up. Or maybe it has a negative effect like causing acne, schizophrenia, or the hiccups. Anyways, just curious, thought it would be funny and interesting topic for discussion. So let's talk about the body's absorption of semen.
That is so interesting. Actually, I was just having a conversation with my partner about something like this. Like he got a vasectomy, right, recently. And I was like, wow, are you getting like more energy now? Because basically when you get a vasectomy, your body like reabsorbs the sperm. I was like, oh, you must get like extra protein now because you're not like releasing it. We're like, are you going to get like more calories that way? And we were really like dissecting it, like what's happening in the body. Well, actually not really much, to be honest. I think when you eat sperm, like it is technically protein, isn't it? But like, it's quite a negligible amount, I would say. Like, I don't think it compares to having a chicken breast. I don't know, like.
Well, I don't even eat chicken breast today. I have my semen.
Vegan protein. I don't know. I think if it's consensual, I think it could be something you could add to your diet if that's something you're into. I don't know. I've actually never really researched it, but I mean, I think it's coming from the body. Is it something you want? Maybe you could topically apply it and see how that goes. I don't know. Have you ever had any experiences with semen usage?
Just in my eye and it hurt.
Not a substitute for eye drops.
Not a substitute for eye drops. Don't use that. But
no.
We did an episode on facials where we kind of looked into like the proteins in semen, and we saw the same thing. Like, yes, there are some benefits potentially like on different circumstances, but not enough to be like overwhelmingly
like, give me semen. I will use it.
So here's the question I'm left with. How much do you need to make it impactful?
Yeah, that's the thing. And I think it also depends on what they're eating as well, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
right. I think I would be choosing, the right person to give the donation. And then, you could really have like different specimens as, high quality, less quality. I think you could get some semen tasting going on, but I don't want to go forward with that personally, but maybe somebody who's into it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are.
I'm not saying I want to, but with the right kind of funding, I'm not opposed.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm opposed. I lied.
But have you ever heard of like getting schizophrenia or the hiccups from
that's
absorption?
That's something new. Schizophrenia, where would that even come from? I don't know. People are just very creative with I think maybe the hiccups, but I think the hiccups just if you just swallowed it too quickly, you know, like you didn't like you swallowed too much air. Yeah, like maybe that happened to them and they just want to normalize what happened to them. Like, guys, I got schizophrenia from swallowing, like that's not just me, right? Like somebody else, that happened to somebody else, right? No, I think exactly.
A little bit. Maybe that's a scare tactic they were told.
Yeah.
In like some type of bed that like any type of semen will give you like schizophrenia.
That's just wrong on so many levels.
I know.
Like I'm not blaming the listener because they obviously are asking a question,
in a very
but like
pure way.
Totally.
Yeah.
Questions are good,
They
but
were told.
you never know. The amount of stuff people have come up with just to like it's creative. I actually applaud the creativity. I mean, I don't know if you've heard, like I'm not sure if it's true, that like people make face cream out of foreskins.
Yeah, I've had that on my face before.
What?
No, is it true?
Yeah,
oh God,
it's not like
it's such a US thing. Like we don't
it's not quite
stuff so much in Europe.
It's like not quite that. So I got microneedling done once, and they put on this like special cream after that has a lot of like growth. I don't know, factors in it. And I was talking to the nurse practitioner who did it because I went through like a medical facility to do it. And so she explained everything, and she was talking about how the cream has some sort like some cells from the foreskin in it because of like the growth factors, but it wasn't like just straight up foreskin.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
it wasn't like
yeah, they didn't like put foreskin into a Vitamix and then be like, here.
Oh no, that's horrible. Those baby foreskins.
Foreskin all over.
Oh God,
that sounds like a Saw movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember her talking about it because I was like, oh, and she's like, would you like to buy some? And I said, no, thank you.
No, thanks. Or I guess we heard of the bull testicle.
Oh yeah,
face cream that or in hair.
Yeah,
moisturizer
in the UK, right? Yeah.
Oh God, I mean, you know, it's like also like our breast milk. You know, people make stuff out of breast milk, don't they? Like, and you know, are people that eat the placenta? I don't know. Like, I think if you're down for it, go for it, but I think consult a real doctor first. I mean, I think there's some limits. Like I think poo, for example, should not be ingested because it actually has like some bad bacteria in it. Although are those people making capsules with like bacteria from other people's poo so that other people's gut bacteria gets better. So it's fascinating actually when you think about it. But I would recommend talk to a real doctor before you start
capsules.
I have heard of poop implants.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Like change your like colon
exactly.
biome.
Yes. Yeah. I mean that's quite cool actually. I would It's interesting. I don't know again if I want to be the volunteer, but yeah. Come, I guess, is easier accessible, right? Like, I don't know.
It's true. Easier.
It comes easy.
I'd rather just take some vitamins, to be honest. Oh, God. I don't know. I applaud the creativity of the question. I'm down for more investigation. Definitely.
Something that I have to share because I had to learn it, so everybody else has to learn it now, is my high school science teacher ate his wife's placenta.
Ooh. I've heard.
How did he eat it?
I don't know.
Like sashimi style or like
I don't
grilled?
I think grilled or something.
Weird. Oh no.
I mean, that's really common. Didn't Kim K eat hers?
There's still something different about eating your own versus eating somebody else's.
It's eating
I don't know.
Body part.
Yeah. It's just like what nutrients are in that for you, sir?
Sir, how does this help you? Yeah.
I hope he at least left her a bit, for God's sake. Like, she didn't just come home. It's like, you ate it all. Like, what the fuck? Like, leave me some.
Give me your stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not like it's that easy to grow one, right? It takes you 9 months at least, right? Like,
you can have the next one.
Yeah.
I want this
one.
Yeah,
okay. I'll just get rid of the baby. No, it's a bit dark. So,
oh my God, that's so funny.
I mean, I wish my body could produce more food. Like, I'm always like, I wish I could use parts of my body, like, to just like make a burger or something. I would love that, but I don't know. Like, it would be great. but I don't know how to do that right now. So yeah,
We're not there yet.
no, not quite, not quite. Looking forward to the future though.
Yeah. So much to look forward to. On the topic of cum, we got another question talking about how, and we have more where this came from. They said that cum burns the insides of their vagina.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, can you
That's
think of a reason that might be?
Well, I think with a burning sensation, it's difficult to tell exactly where it comes from, because it might be that you think, oh, well, it came in me. So, and now it's burning, and oh, because it's the cum. So it could be potentially some kind of allergic reaction, maybe. It could also just be like something like vaginismus, because that can, like, you can have a burning sensation. Like, I think when it comes to, actually, it's quite easy to have a burning sensation in the vagina. It could also be like a yeast infection. And often when you're experiencing, like, for example, you're having sex, everything's kind of good, but then when you come and they're still going afterwards, it can be, you can feel the burning sensation because the pleasurable sensation is kind of like reduced. So then the burning sensation is kind of like, is more experienced at that point. So it could be multiple reasons. It could be that you've got an infection at the time, maybe some kind of allergic reaction. I don't know. I think it is possible. Some people could be allergic to cum. I think that's definitely possible. Yeah, I mean, people can be allergic to anything, right? So I would definitely go to the doctor and check that out, because if it's burning all the time, yeah, it's definitely not a pleasurable sensation. So also wear a condom as well. Then you can, like, that's a good way to test if the burning is there with and without the cum. Like, so. Yeah, that sucks though. That doesn't sound very nice.
Yeah, that's interesting. If maybe like it's the pain of penetration that something is like burning, or it's the cum. Yeah.
But the condom experiment, that's like a really good idea. I love that. And what you reminded me of is when we did our facials episode, we also found out that like 40,000 people with vaginas in the United States are allergic to semen. And so, and those allergic reactions tend to happen like inside the vagina. Because we were talking about facials and we're like, you're not likely to have an allergic reaction on your face, but the vagina was where people did. So that could also be,
interesting.
Yeah, maybe that like flora of the vagina is like more easily disrupted. I mean, like, actually, I did not realize like how much semen can disrupt your natural pH level anyway, like whether it's just due to things like something more extreme like being allergic to it, but actually it's super common for people to get yeast infections or to get bacterial vaginosis like from semen, like, because people can have very acidic semen or have like very, and then all of a sudden your like levels are off and you're like, what the heck is going on? Like, people with vaginas are just unfortunately a little bit like more prone to getting,
tell me about it,
infections, also with STIs, like because of the skin's much like thinner between your body and the kind of outside of your body, so it's much easier for bacteria to pass through that, like versus like the skin of a penis, for example. So we just feel it worse in general, like we just get everything worse.
Yeah.
In
college I got like 7 yeast infections. I mean, I didn't really know I had a yeast infection, so I think the fact that my partner and I kept having sex was like, I found out I could pass it back and forth, which I didn't know you could do, which was painful.
That sounds
with unprotected sex, I feel like it was just easier for me to get it, for my body to get yeast infection.
Absolutely, we're just prone for it. And like, unfortunately, a lot of people even find out that their partner was cheating on them because they found out they got a yeast infection because their partner was literally taking it home from another person's vagina and was passing it to them, and they didn't really get the symptoms. Like, it's quite uncommon, and it's not totally uncommon, but less likely for a person with penis to get symptoms of yeast infection. But it's like, yes, yeast infection and cheating, like, fantastic, like,
fantastic.
So
for the parting gift.
Scary.
Asshole.
Yeah.
Is it so? If I don't want to phrase this question. So is it easy for like vaginas to pass yeast infections back and forth from each other, or is it
like vagina?
I would guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think probably if you were having sex with somebody else with vagina, like, probably would be as well. Like, although it depends on what you're doing. I mean, of course, when you're having penetrative sex, like, you have this like vessel like going into the vagina, and like
Right.
it's easy to sort of like pick up, like fluid around it. Like, so I guess maybe that's a bit easier. But yeah, if you're using your fingers as well, like you can totally pass it. So I think even potentially you can pass it with your tongue. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe the bacteria can be destroyed in your mouth, but lots of STIs can be passed like orally and with fingers and with sex toys as well. So yeah, it's something to be careful of. I mean, if you have a yeast infection, just try to avoid having sex for a good wee while. I mean, it's not, I guess, also, I'm guessing you were experiencing it's not so fun. It's like itchy, it can be a bit burning, it can
You
be,
would recommend?
yeah.
It literally felt like my vagina was closed. Like when you were trying to have sex, it was like, no, stop.
Doesn't want to go
I
in.
want you here.
Try the other hole.
Yeah.
The back
I'm
one.
closed for business.
Try the back door. Yeah.
Try the back
The
door.
front door is currently not working. Yeah, no, it's true. And I think that's where a lot of people, they find out about it first. Like they go to have penetrative sex and it's like, it's more painful than normal. It feels much tighter. It just doesn't feel right. And you're like, what's going on? And
Right.
yeast infection can last quite a long time, especially like if you sort of like don't treat it kind of quickly. And especially if you continue to have sex, then you're just sort of prolonging you really need to let your pH levels get back to normal, let your body just like heal. And every time you put something in it, it's like, it's difficult when you're horny though. You're like, I think when you get an infection, you're like the most horny you've ever been in your life, just because you can't do it. You're like,
Right.
great.
Internal.
Thank you.
Walk up.
Exactly. Oh, it's hard. It's a hard life having a vagina.
Yeah. Well, this kind of goes in hand and it makes sense because I am also starting to be adverse to semen
After this
conversation. But someone else asked what to do when you're not into cum, but your partner is. So I don't really know what necessarily situation they're talking about, but maybe like coming in a mouth or on a body or
like they want you to swallow, but you don't want to, or they want to come on your face, but you don't want them to.
cum play. And you're not down for cum play. So what's some advice for that situation?
Well, I mean, it's tough when you're into something, your partner doesn't like it. But I mean, at the end of the day, your partner's boundaries trumps what your desires are, right? Like that's always true. Like as much as I would like something, but my partner doesn't like it, you know what? It's just, they're not entitled to do it for you. Like I would say if you're really into it, maybe there's some compromise, like some place that you don't mind it so much. Like maybe, they could like come on your leg. I don't know, at least it's skin, but it doesn't feel like so into like so. Some people get grossed out by it. I'm not so into it either. Like I remember like the first person that came in my face, and I was just like, what the heck is this? Like you're like, what is this? Like whenever it comes to my mouth, I am just like, I just have an instant reaction to spit it out. Like I'm sorry, I'm not like, I'm not a trooper. Like I don't just like, I take it. No, I'm just like, what the fuck? Sorry. But it's natural, right? Like
spit it back out.
I don't know. So I totally get it. Oh, I mean, I'm like, I have a lot of respect for people that are into it, because good for you. I'm just, nah, I don't like it. I don't like the feeling of it so much. But yeah, I think like, see if there's a place that works for both of you. Maybe they just like to come like not inside. Maybe you could come on the wall. I don't know, like get like one of those bullseyes or something. I don't know, make it fun.
Come on,
I think there's usually some
dartboard
in between. Yeah, dartboard, like a cum board. That would be fun, actually.
That would be fun. On the wall. Turn around.
Yeah, but I think at the heart of it, like just like honestly, if you're not into it, I don't worry about it. Like I think if it's a really deep kink, like somebody has like a fetish, for example, something that really is important to somebody, and you're really really into it. I also think for some people, like actually working with a sex worker, if it's something you're really into and your partner, is like, what, I love you, but I'm not into it, but this is something important to you. I think for some people that works, actually, like literally outsourcing it, but that's not for everyone. And maybe this is not like a deep enough fetish for them, but everybody has different needs, and I don't think you're not required to fulfill all of them. So
totally.
Yeah, it's a tough one to
figure out. Like maybe it's just like
you don't meet on that.
Yeah, exactly. Were you gonna say something?
I was gonna, when you're talking about coming on the wall or the dartboard, I was talking about our cum spot.
Oh
that we wanted to invent. We want to make these little like stickers that you can put on your body so that you can tell your partner where you want them to come. But I guess you could place them literally anywhere. You could place them
That's
throughout
a
the
good
house, make it a
idea.
scavenger hunt.
Make them look for it. They're
Oh my
you're just
gosh.
like,
They're waddling.
Wow.
Oh
I
my-
hope you have good wipeable wallpaper. Like that's there's no way you lose your deposit on that.
Yeah. Oh
What's
god.
that
They
on the
take
wall?
blacklight.
Oh my god, I forgot about blacklight. Ew.
Oh god, oh the black light. Oh my god. Yeah, I think you'd have to be really good at cleaning. Like I just know like you're into something like when you're in the moment, you're like, this is hot. And then I'm so lazy, I like fall asleep afterwards and I would forget about it. And then the whole house would smell like cum, which would not be great. Yeah. So I'm too lazy for stuff like this, but I think it's a great idea. I think if you're into it, get cum spot. I think you should market it seriously.
Actually. Yeah. Moving on from cum, we do have other questions. So this listener said that their husband built a new garage to use as a workshop and gym space, and they want to know how they can get some sexy time on in there. Any suggestions?
This is like one of my biggest fantasies, so I could think of a few, but I'll let you go first.
Yeah, you go first. Go for it. I'm excited to hear too.
So one of my fantasies is like when they're on the chest press, like bench, and they're laying down. Well, it's because I watched it in porn. But then she comes over and like sits on him while he's like working out, and then they start having sex while he's chest pressing. This could be because I dated a bodybuilder. Like maybe this is where this like fantasy is like stemming from. I don't like.
Did you ever do it?
No. Because he never had a home gym. So.
Oh yeah.
You're like gold.
No, that's true.
But also I have like a voyeur thing. So that's also why I like fantasize about like gym situations. I don't know. A lot of things when like you're already working out and like one person is having sex with you while you're doing it. So I don't know.
Pull-ups and
like slow down at the same time. I don't know.
That's double. That's great. I love like efficiency when you do two things at once. I'm so down for that. Like, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Like the gym is sexy, isn't it? Like you're kind of already sweaty. You're like wearing tight clothes. Like, you know, maybe you're getting so hot, like working out, and I'm just gonna take my top off. I'm so sweaty or something. I don't know. Like, I think there's lots of things. I mean, of course, just from the practical side of things, try not to hurt yourself. Like I am a bit of a like, don't
wear close
put a weight above your head or something. I've seen Final Destination and somebody dies that way. So, you know, like don't do that or whatever, like one of those swingy things. I don't know. It was a long time ago, but I don't know. I wonder if they mean like practically, are they looking for like scenarios like you just described, or are they like wondering how they can bring it up to their partner? Like, hey, I know you've just built this home gym. I hope you also intend to have sex with me here.
I hope you,
because that's what I want.
Either way, whatever they were asking, I think they just got their answer.
Yeah, definitely.
I hope
just
you're
go for
intending
it.
to have sex with me in here.
That is the best way to bring it up I've ever heard.
If you're gonna put money into this room, it might as well be multi-purpose, right?
You better absolutely. Absolutely. Like just bring it up. I think they'll be happy.
Yeah.
Also, because it says husband, so it's like this is half yours, bitch. Like it's also your room.
Yeah.
This is your gym.
You swore into that with holy matrimony. Like just stand
absolutely.
and
any extra room that is built in this house is sex room as well. Is sex room. Okay.
sex room.
Yeah, also it's wipeable. Like gym stuff is usually wipeable, which is quite nice. Like, again, I'm thinking about the cleanup, like a mat, it's quite wipeable. That's good. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
And it's soft, you know, like protect yourself. Like if on the floor, get a yoga mat, workout mat.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say if that's something that you want to do, make sure you have surfaces that make sense, not just the garage floor. So benches, yoga mats, like
could be cold.
Exactly.
It would be cold.
Yeah.
A space heater.
A space
Oh,
heater.
that's nice. Yeah. And some tissues and stuff. Like you need that anyway, you know, like wipe everything down afterwards. So yeah.
More than just Clorox wipes.
Yeah. Clorox wipes in there. But I think if you intend to have sex with me in here, I think that's a great ask.
Yeah, and put a little sex kit in there of all the things you think that you would need. So like if you do use condoms, like keep them in there as well. So that you can run all the way back into the house or something.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, and you can actually use one of those like massagers you know, like the ones that are also like
Theragun.
a magic
Yeah.
wand. Oh my God. And you know, the adverts where like, it's like super high powered. And the guy's like, yeah, I'm using it after the gym. I'm like so buff. And I'm like, that is a vibrator. Like, stop lying to us. That is a vibrator. Okay. I know you're selling it as a personal massager, but I know
That's what I also
we
call
all
the
know.
vibrator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Why did my mind
So
go
you
to
can
a
just double
Theragun?
team it.
No, we're talking about the massagers, the wand massagers.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Because those are also, they're advertised as like personal massagers.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, good for after the
Smart
gym.
animals.
And
but I definitely
sex-wise.
got a Theragun, and I'm like,
Yeah.
if you're into it.
I have a massage gun that goes so fast, it would like pummel my clitoris. But
Yeah.
again,
I
if
can
you're
imagine that too.
yeah.
Some people, also good for the prostate, apparently. I don't know. Both ways.
I feel like vibrate. Well, maybe not good for, but satisfying too.
Yeah.
Theragun might be a little intense.
Shove it up your ass.
Each their own.
Whatever. Another question is, what is the I have to pee sensation that one can get during sex? And I'm assuming this person probably has a vulva. So I think it's that like penetrative. She was speaking like penetrative sex.
Well, it definitely could be that they're kind of close to squirting. Not everyone experiences this, but some people seem to kind of more naturally experience this. And I actually just talked to a lot of people like about squirting recently, and for most of them, they get that sensation of needing to pee. I think most of us, when we're not intending to squirt, or we don't know what it is, or we've never experienced it, we would kind of be like, what? Like, I don't want to pee, you know? But actually, when you're stimulating, usually the G spot, like it's also stimulating like urethral sponge. So it is kind of telling your body like, oh, let's release some, basically it's like, it's not full pee, it's like a mixture of like a little bit of urea, but also a lot of water and creatine. So it's like kind of like cum, pee and water essentially. So it definitely could be that you're about to squirt. If you just sort of like kind of relax, let go and push it out, that's usually how people squirt, which is amazing. But it's not for everyone. Some people, like, they don't really want to have the mess up, like the clean up. Some people, they just don't want to feel like they're peeing, and that's, so it's totally up to the person. But I don't know, like, it's not something I experience personally. Sometimes I need to pee and then I go and pee and then I come back and finish it off. But I think in those moments I probably could have squirted actually if I really wanted to. I don't know, have you ever had that feeling before during sex?
I've had it on purpose. I think we've talked about it before. I was just gonna say that, yeah. Like sometimes I'll get excited before sex and I'll realize that I have to go to the bathroom, but I almost like it because it makes everything feel a little bit more sensitive. And then it's like I feel satisfied after because I know I have to pee and I've done what I need to do for my like vaginal health.
Yeah, that is good. Actually, I get you.
Like as more recently for masturbating, like I'll if I have to go to the bathroom, I'll like hold it because it makes everything more sensitive. So on purpose, but not so much like during sex if I didn't already know I have to pee.
Yeah.
Is that for you?
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I do like to hold it in a little bit. So that way when I have sex, it feels better. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's filling up. And when your bladder is full, like it's also if you think about like where the bladder is inside the body, it's hitting like very close to where the internal clitoris is. So when the bladder is full, it can be putting more pressure on the clitoris, and it can make everything like more tight in the vagina as well. So if you're like having vaginal stimulation, everything just feels like more full. So yeah, more sensation. So yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. And then even if you do like squirt, and if you haven't peed, like probably a lot, like there would be more urine in it, but it's still not like full on pee. Like I don't know, people are really like against like, oh my god, I don't want to pee on something, or I don't want to pee during sex. But at the end of the day, it's just like a release of fluid because of stimulation and pleasure. So like,
right,
it's a really big deal. Like it's as long as you feel good.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just saying, as long as you feel good, then
yeah. And it's the same tube, right? Squirting and peeing.
Yeah. Well, basically, yeah, they're coming like basically squirt. Like it comes like, so a lot of the projectile fluid, it comes from the urethra, so like pee, but it's also like usually there's some ejaculate coming from from the skin glands as well. So that's usually when they study, like they take like a sample of squirt, like there's both ejaculate and like urea and water and everything. So they're kind of wondering, like, does the ejaculate come from the urethra? Probably not. More likely comes from the Skene's glands, which holds the ejaculate. So it's also when you come and you haven't squirted and you get like cum, like almost like male cum, it's coming from the Skene's glands as well. So it's like it's all kind of combined basically.
Right. So does your pee stop? I forget, like if you feel like you're about to squirt, but you also know you have to pee, with that release, will it be more of the ejaculate and less of the pee?
Yeah, if you need to pee, and you haven't, a lot of people like they'll pee before they go to have sex, even if they know they want to squirt. But if you haven't, you will still pee probably, because it like the interesting thing about like the difference between male and female bodies is like people with vaginas, like they don't get that cut off like in the brain, where if you have a penis, you actually can't pee when you're erect. Which is good. It stops people from peeing inside vaginas, right? Like, that's not very nice. Yeah,
they would,
and they would.
But yeah, exactly. So, but it's not the same the way around. But the interesting thing is, why does stimulation produce this feeling of needing to pee? Because it's all like connected, and I think actually the bladder plays a really interesting role in stimulation and orgasm as well. So yeah, it's super interesting. They're all connected, like it's not just like when you go to pee, when you're peeing in the toilet, like it would be more liquid. It would also have other stuff in it as well. It would smell as well a little bit different.
Interesting.
So yeah.
We have a whole episode on squirting, and it's been a while, so I forget, but it's just so interesting. I love learning about the different things that your body does, like simply because it's turned on.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah.
So fun. Yeah, and there's still so much shame around it as well, isn't there? So I'm like, yeah, and it's funny, like people feel so much pressure like both ways. Like they feel pressure to squirt, or they feel ashamed when they do. And it's like, man, as long as you're experiencing pleasure, why does it matter? Like, do it, don't do it. Pee, is it pee, not pee? It's just good shit. Like,
it's just good shit.
Like, does it matter? Not really.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. It's a little bit of a long one. Is there a difference in having sex with circumcised versus uncircumcised penises? Does it feel different for them? Is it more or less pleasurable for them, or the person receiving it? I've heard that they can be less clean because of the extra skin. Same thing with vaginas. I had a weird looking vagina, but my partner assures me it's his favorite. Lol. Is there a difference with pleasure for the different types of vaginas/labias?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I think it's interesting. Like, are you guys in the US or like Canada or somewhere like? Yeah. So I mean, obviously it's so different. Like, the first person I ever slept with was circumcised, was an American guy, and I was just like totally like, what? How do you work this penis? Like, what is going on? There's a bit missing. This is not right. Like. I guess I actually hadn't had so much experience. Like, I think I'd actually just had sex with 2 other people before that. So I was like, it was only the third penis I'd ever seen. So I didn't exactly first know what was different about it. But then I was trying to give it a hand job, and it was so dry. I was like, what's going on? Like, why is it not moving? Like, it's hard. Like, I don't know. There's not so many guys, I guess, in the US with like who are uncircumcised. But personally, I prefer uncircumcised because it just has a natural like movement to it. Like, you don't need as much you don't need as much lube, which is also good for the person with a vagina, like, because it's like without the foreskin, it's dry. It doesn't want to move so smoothly. That's why apparently a lot of guys use socks to masturbate into in the US. You heard that thing where they get like a really crusty sock? Like, like, that's just not a thing here, right? Like, because the foreskin is like basically the sock, right? So it's
you
like,
came with a sock.
Do they come into their foreskin?
Well, they don't need to.
Well, they
oh,
come to like out.
You're
like
They go over and then
and then it's just a little sock and take it right off.
I just chuck it in the washing machine.
Yeah, you're good.
They just chuck it back on afterwards. That would be so handy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I personally, I think they're both fine. I would never say no to either one based on that. Cleanliness, yeah. I mean, if you're worried about somebody not cleaning their dick, to be honest, it doesn't matter to me about the foreskin or not. I would just be worried about that person because I don't like, that's basic
hygiene,
like hygiene, you know, like, but unfortunately that is an issue with a lot of people. So I would say like it depends more on the person than the actual like the foreskin or not. Like, are they just a hygienic person or not? Yeah, I would say the penis doesn't change. It doesn't actually impact that so much. I don't know. How do you feel about it? Like, what are your thoughts on foreskins?
You're the only one that's had sex with someone who has
I know. I
foreskin.
thought you were gonna say Jurgen is uncircumcised. He is. That's my partner. He's uncircumcised, and it's great.
Yeah.
He has a wonderful penis. I had something. Maybe this is a controversial opinion, but I just don't necessarily think that the body would be born with something that like it isn't supposed to have in general. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like
I think so
different
too.
things happen. And like, if you're born with something that is actively mitigating your health, then of course, like that's worth changing. But like, I just think there are a lot of things around genitalia that like we choose to change and they aren't actually like medical, like out of medical necessity. Like, intersex individuals, like we tend to treat that as if it is a medical emergency, and it's not at all.
Yeah, that's such a
People
good
are
point.
entitled to their genitals, and just because they look different than like the two categories we've decided are okay, doesn't mean that, I don't know. I think it's all bullshit. And so I'm not going to tell anybody like, don't circumcise your child or anything like that. But like my partner and I've talked about it, and we definitely won't be circumcising our children if we have children with penises. It's just like not, I don't know. But I also know that there's like religious purposes behind it, but it's just, I don't know. It's an interesting topic. I would never say, I'd say no to a penis for a lot of reasons, but that would not be one of them. Was whether or not they were circumcised. Yeah.
I wonder, and maybe you can answer this question. Is there like a more like fullness feeling with a penis that's uncircumcised versus circumcised when you're having like penetrative sex?
It's a good question.
I feel like it depends on the size of the penis in general. Because like I've had sex with an uncircumcised penis and then a circumcised penis. I don't really remember the circumcised one very well, but I think my current partner is bigger in general. So it, like I don't really know the difference, but I'm sure it adds girth. Like
it must do at least like a couple millimeters, right?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I feel like the same. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go.
I was going to do labia. So if you have something about penises. Please.
Yeah, I think labia is it's good actually. Like to go to next because that's. I'm sad that she thinks she has a. Well, they think they have a like a weird vagina, like a weird vulva. That's so sad to hear.
Right, and I just don't. I mean, personally, I think that I have like bigger inner labia minora, but I don't think it's ever like impacted my sex necessarily, and so I don't think that. At least in my experience, labia affects sensitivity for me. I don't know. That's how
I think it's a difficult one to test like personally because I guess you can't experience either way. I did a little bit of research into labia, and I think there is a small difference, and apparently like if you have more surface area, like you can actually experience a little bit more pleasure. But
aces.
So apparently having slightly bigger labia can potentially increase your pleasure or increase like your potential for pleasure, which is amazing because I think like bigger labia in general just get a bit of a bad rep. Like I really hate all the words that people use for it. I mean, like God, I mean in the UK we have horrible words for labia like flaps or something. It's just like God, or like burger, like or like oh, it's horrible. Like I just think like I think if you have labia, like they are wonderful, whatever combination. We have larger inner ones or asymmetrical ones. Like I think actually what's more impactful is whether you have shame around them or not, because that's
Right.
considering sex is so mental, like, and pleasure is so, you know, is so about your mind. Like, that's the real thing that can stop you from having pleasure or not. So yeah, I think get to know your labia, because it's going to make you have better sex in general when you feel more comfortable, especially if you get head, for example. So many people don't like enjoy getting head because they don't want someone to look at their labia like up close, which is just like, it's so sad that that's like the experience of many people, you know.
I feel like we're not exposed to enough vulvas and labia in general,
so
and
true.
the ones that are through porn like aren't like the norm necessarily. Like, that is one type of vulva. A lot of the time there is labiaplasty involved, and it's like,
oh god, that's so
you're
true.
not necessarily seeing, you know, a wide range. Not that anybody's labia aren't normal. So like the ones you're seeing are normal, just not everybody's. And it's like yours is normal too. So I just feel like I wasn't saying that to
I was
you.
like, me, I know. Thank you.
You're normal too. Don't worry, Em. I know you're so concerned right now. No, the person who asked the question, like, yours are normal too. Everybody's are normal. The one thing I did forgot to mention about that I meant to say about penises and like circumcision was that I don't think uncircumcised people are inherently unhygienic. That was like a really important thing that I wanted to say. I just think it's easy to clean. And my partner's talked about this a lot. Like, it is so easy to clean if you just do it. And I feel like if somebody's gonna have an unclean wiener, they would probably have an unclean wiener without a foreskin as well. Right. And it's just, that shouldn't be an excuse.
Oh god,
yeah.
That's so true.
It's not hard to pull it back and clean. Yeah. I've watched my partner
just
do
teach him.
Yeah.
I think the interesting thing I learned about foreskins, apparently why, of course it was a religious thing, like you said, but apparently why a lot of it was really like promoted in the US is because it was apparently said that it would make people masturbate less if they didn't have a foreskin. So it was like part of this kind of like era, you know, like the Kellogg's guy, he also invented cornflakes because he thought it would make people masturbate less. He was a big advocate for circumcision as well. Yeah. So
oh my god,
really, why are we circumcising people?
That was how our friendship started.
Did you learn that in class?
Yeah, we found it in our textbook in class, and then we showed each other, and that's how we became friends. So thanks, cornflakes.
That's
you
funny.
prevented masturbating, but you brought us together, and we're making people masturbate. So full circle, bitch. Fuck you. But where we
for
were,
every Kellogg's guy, there's two girls, like two women like you, counteracting his evil cornflake plan. Yeah.
So funny. But what you were saying makes a lot of sense. I feel like this question could really be stemmed in like being uncomfortable with your body because it's around pleasure and it's around, you know, I feel like my vulva doesn't look great. So it's like, maybe this question is coming from like just not accepting what your body looks like. So maybe that pleasure is just harder.
And they're all great. Circumcised, uncircumcised, they're perfect. Vulva's perfect. Like everybody's great. There is no right way to do anything. Everybody can have preferences, whatever. But like everything's normal. And we're just taught it's normal. So we hate ourselves and then pay money to do things.
Which is fine. Sometimes. Like my boobs. I want my boobs to be done soon.
Yeah, it's fine to choose. Right. Like, and that's not coming out of hating yourself either.
Exactly. Coming out of loving
exactly, that's true. Definitely.
On the same of like kind of going down, I don't know, going down on someone else asked, how do you get your partner to go down on you without asking? So maybe like they're uncomfortable asking for that type of pleasure, but I also don't know if you can do sex stuff
and not ask for
something. Because you know, people aren't mind readers / consent is a thing. So
that's so true.
About that.
But I understand where that question's coming from because it's scary to ask for.
It's scary. Like you want to be like, hey, you know.
Push them.
But also you want to make sure that like everyone's happy doing it. And but it is awkward to ask for what you want when you're feeling vulnerable. So I get that.
That's true. I mean, I think I'd also struggled with this as well in my relationship. Like both of us, I find it awkward to say things, at least during the moment. Like we're not like very verbal communicators during sex. So to be honest, we had to sort of like bite the bullet a little bit and just talk about it outside of sex. So like there will be times where something hasn't happened or whatever, and during sex I don't say anything, like, or if I really want something at this point I'm able to sort of ask for it. But I had to get to this point before where I would just be like, hey, this is something I would really like. um how do you feel about it? Like, where are you at? And actually, like, a lot of the times both of us wanted the same thing, but because there was sort of like this unspoken thing going on between us, they thought that I didn't want it, I thought they didn't want it, so we were kind of both assuming like a negative thing, or assuming that neither of us wanted it because nobody said it. So I think, don't assume what your partner feels. If they haven't gone down on you, it doesn't mean that they don't want to. It doesn't mean, maybe they just think they don't feel confident about it. Actually, that's a big part, especially lots of people don't feel confident about their skills giving head. So maybe you could just make it into a fun thing where you kind of like, hey, this is something I would really enjoy. Maybe I could give you some tips. Like, we could do a sexy learning adventure together. Like, I know when it comes to head, like, I'm not the best at giving a blowjob, and I really enjoy it when my partner gives me like, it like kind of gives me verbal, like, a guide. So I think take some time outside of actual having sex and try to just be like, hey, this is something I like, or is there something I can do for you? You could flip the conversation and see, is there something that they are really desiring that you haven't given to them or you haven't done? And maybe then that can start up the conversation without you putting your desires on the table first, because it is, like you said, it's a kind of awkward, vulnerable conversation to have. So maybe you can put it in that way. Yeah.
Definitely.
It's a hard one though. Yeah.
I really like that you said, like, and I'm not the best at giving head too, because I think it is so important to talk about the things that, like, yeah, we aren't all going to be great at everything. We might not even be good at things, like, and that's okay to not be good at something or to be learning or any of those things. Like, I don't know, we're born, like, we're taught that you're either born being good at sex or you're not.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's
Yeah.
a learned skill. That's why
It's a
we're
learned
fucking
skill.
here.
Yeah.
And the other thing that, like, we do like to do is you can blame us and you can blame our episodes. So we do have an amazing going down episode with Luna Matata. So if you want to send that to your partner, like, oh my God,
she's
look at
amazing.
this. Look at this episode.
That's a good
It's a
idea.
good hint.
Right. And I another thing is, I'm coming from someone who's been talking about sex very openly for 2 years now. So I have a confidence with this topic that not a lot of people are going to have. And I understand that. But I think it's fun to talk about sex and like flirty things outside of the bedroom when you're on dates, or when you're doing something that like isn't supposed to be necessarily like sexy or whatever. Shut up. I may or may not have a small work crush. Anyway, so I think it's fun to like start making like a flirty conversation that's a little bit like alluding to sexual things, like, oh, well, how do you feel about, doing stuff below the, I don't know, doing stuff
How do you
with
feel
your
about
mouth.
going below the belt?
Going below the belt. So I think that's a great way to have a conversation and to just like feel out a person and be like, oh, well, I really like it. And like, maybe there's a better way. I don't know. Cause like, you're not getting rejected in the moment. If they're like, I'm not into it, you're just like, oh, I am.
That's
Okay.
a really good tip, definitely.
Yeah. And
It takes that kind of emotion out of it, doesn't it? Like,
yeah, exactly. It takes the emotion out of it. It's just more matter of fact of like what you like, what you don't, and you're being flirty. I don't know.
And if
So.
you don't feel
Exactly.
comfortable saying, oh, I'm into it, you can be like, yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
If that's where you're at.
Right.
And especially if
Yeah.
this is somebody that you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to eventually want them to go down on me. Like,
Right.
let it go then.
Just let it go.
You have no
Exactly.
obligation
Right.
to like say anything about yourself that you don't feel comfortable saying.
Because
So
it's not in the moment of like, I want to get my pleasure or you're doing something wrong. It's like completely removed for that, removed from the emotion. And
a vetting question.
yeah, a vetting question.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should have more of those conversations. Like, recently I've been working with this like ethical porn company in Berlin, like doing like talking about consent and stuff with them. And like, when I've been on set with them before shooting, I'm not like there when they actually have had the actual sex, but like every time before they have a shoot, like all the performers get together with like the director, and they go through like all their desires and their boundaries. And like hearing them talk to each other, they're like, okay, like, so I really like to get licked. I don't really like to lick people, but I really enjoy like nipple stimulation or whatever. Like, and then the other person's like, oh, I love to lick. How do you feel about like strap-ons? Oh yeah, I have a fantasy to do that, or no, that's not what I'm really into. And having this whole conversation beforehand is like, it was just so incredible to watch, because I don't really think many of us are having those conversations before we have sex with a partner. We kind of just we start doing it and we assume everyone likes the same thing as us and we're all on the same page. And when you break it down, there's so many different things that we could like and dislike, and different roles we like to play. You know, maybe some like to give, some like to receive, you know, all those different acts, maybe fetishes. If you just kind of start to talk about it like a little bit beforehand, it's not just about consent, but it's like it turns you on as well, because you start imagining what you could do together, you know, and you kind of match up on the things that you like, and you think, okay, cool, they don't like that, you know what, that's totally fine. There's a million other things we could do together that we both like. So it's like, it really taught me a lot about having a good conversation before sex. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. And also within that conversation, maybe you can think of like a cue that like you can do that's like more like of a sign. So you don't have to be like, I'm ready now. Like you can go down on me, but it can be more of like,
Yeah,
when
that's
I
good
like run my
actually.
fingers through your hair, like that means I want that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You know,
yeah, I think that's
that
a great idea.
conversation can really set you up.
Yeah, that's a really
But
good
I
idea.
love that about the ethical porn company, that they like just talk about and like match up the
They should
desires and
record that
interests.
part too.
Yeah, I feel like I saw something about that
Yeah,
on Instagram. I don't know if
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
you
They
posted it.
they film it, and we have it on TikTok. Yeah, yeah. The company. It's I think it's great to see. I like to see the communication in general more. Like eh, hearing people like discuss, like, yeah, no, I don't want you to do that, or I want you to do that, because I think we all need to learn to get better at that. To be honest, and I think definitely porn teaches a lot of bad stuff, but I think it can, if it's done well, also teach us like really good stuff. Like if
Right.
it's like we pretty much everyone's watching it. Like let's just be honest, like we all like porn, right? Most of us do. So it might as well teach us some good tips as well.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So last question we're going to ask is how to get back in the game after it's been a while. Let's assume it's in reference to sex.
Yeah.
And not just like dating in general. But yeah, how do you get back in the game when you've been benched for a while?
I get it.
That's a
I
good
get it.
one. I mean, I love masturbation, and I just recommend it to everybody, because like I think, are you ever out of the game? Like you can always masturbate, right? Like unless you were in a coma or you lost the function of your body or something. I mean,
Yeah.
I always say this. I'm like, oh, everyone's got hands, everyone's got a butt, and I'm like, actually, some people don't have these things. So I don't know. I'm sorry if you somehow lost all your limbs. That might have happened. But getting back in the game, like, yeah, definitely. Like first learn about your body again, because of course it changes. Like, and I think masturbation is such a great way to just like dive into your sexuality without needing to think about anybody else, or without like, you know, when you're with somebody, you perform, you worry about what they're into, you know, like find out what you're into again. Like, and that is just such a great place to set up this new, you know, journey with other sexual partners, and a place where you're like, this is something I'm interested in. I'm curious about this. This is how I feel about my body. These are some boundaries I have. Because I think, especially if you've been at the game for a while, probably you're older now. That's great. Like you're in a better place to like come to the table with new partners with a more like mature mindset. And this is not like young people are immature, but like God, if I could go through my like casual sex time now, like I was when I was 21, I've been in a relationship for like six years now. Like, oh my God, I would know so much more, even though, you know, I've only had sex with one person for the last 6 years. Like, just because I'm a bit older, you know more about yourself. How would you get back in the game? I don't know. It's a fun one, a fun, exciting experience, right?
Yeah. That was actually a great suggestion, which makes sense, but you framed it in a way that I don't think people think about. Like we think about being in the game, which means being with a partner and dating and like giving or getting sex from someone else. But you don't think about the fact that like your own relationship with yourself and sex and masturbation, you're just as much in the game and you're probably having a better game than other people.
Yeah.
You're probably winning those games a little bit more. So I think thinking about it not so much as being out of the game as thinking of like, I'm just playing with myself.
Yeah, I've been playing solo.
I know. I'm just waiting for the rest of the game to
Absolutely.
come back. I think thinking about it that
Exactly.
way changes like your confidence, your I don't know, it changes a lot.
And you're not going to settle for shitty teammates at that
Exactly.
point.
Yeah.
If you
Oh, that's
know
so
what
true,
you're
isn't
doing
it?
with yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Get some good toys as well. Like set yourself up so you know, like you're absolutely right. God, I mean, sex with other people can so often be disappointing, unfortunately. So like, yeah, focus on yourself. Because I do think when you're in that good space with yourself and your body, you do attract the right, I think, better people. I do think so. Like, I think at least from my own experience, I've had that. I'm like, oh, I'm vibing myself. Like other people vibe me then, you know, like, yeah.
Yeah. What I feel like I've gotten a lot of confidence from like one, talking about masturbation and like sex, but just knowing what I like, feeling confident that I'm like, yeah, I have sex toys. Like, yeah, I masturbate like 4 times, like a lot, you know? And I feel like that confidence will carry you if what you're having a hard time with is like meeting people or dating or whatever. But you should start with being confident with your own like sex. I think that could be that's a great first step, which makes a lot of sense.
I was going to say, like, I see that reflected in you in the way that, like, when you tell me you're talking to like these potential people and stuff, it's like, you're saying such confident things and it's so cool. And I'm like, oh my God. And I love it. And I feel like that does come from a place of feeling like really empowered in your body as well. And like you were saying, if you vibe with yourself, vibrator, then you vibe with other people.
But your point was
It's so true.
Don't settle for shitty teammates either, because you're like, okay, well, I like hanging out with me. I can give myself really good sex. So if you're making my life harder, / you're not like listening to me and what I want, then I don't need you on my team.
You don't need anyone.
Right.
If you
I don't
want
want you on my
somebody.
team.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What did we had a guest come on, like, I know what I bring to the table, so I'm not afraid to eat alone. I feel like that's like a perfect
that's so good, isn't it?
kind of like inspire.
Absolutely.
So
exactly. Anybody should just be like a nice addition to your life. Like it shouldn't be like, like it shouldn't be like you need anybody, but it's of course when you're with a partner, like it's like it does bring something else as long as they're good for you. Like there's some things that I don't experience by myself that I do with a partner, but it's like it does also, like, I think, you know, have some realistic expectations as well, like, because of course things take time to get to know each other, but I think as long as they treat your body right, they're excited to be with you, like they have a good mindset, like, yeah. And don't be afraid of like having not had experiences for a while. Like, God, like you could have had a million, I think a lot of people have lots of sex and it's just all bad sex. So does it matter how much sex you've had? Not really. I don't think so.
Right.
That was like such a big realization for me just now.
I loved that.
I used to be so insecure about not having any experience. And I was like, well, all these other people, and I was like, what, 18? I'm like, all these other people are having sex. What kind of sex were they having?
Yeah.
Because it was not good. There's no way it was good.
Right.
We weren't talking about orgasms. I think it sounds like it was big then. I mean, in my friend group.
And did any of you watch what's that one on Netflix when they can't touch each other? It's like a dating show where they like
Too Hot to Handle or something.
Too Hot to Handle. Have you watched the Latino version? It's not my words, it's their words. They're like, it's from like anyone like in South America apart from Brazil, and everyone comes on and they're like, if you think the American one was sexual, of course everyone they hire for it is like, I'm uber sexual, I fuck everybody, and that's the whole point, right? Like then they can't fuck. The Latino one was just intense. It was like literally like watching porn, because of the first night they're like, they don't have any rules, you know, so they're like, I think like most of them have sex the first night, which is like intense. But I felt so bad. Like all the women came on and they were like, yeah, I love having sex with people, it's amazing. But then they were also like, I'm really good at faking it. And I'm like, what? Sorry, what? Like, so you're having lots of sex, but you're always faking it? Like, I don't understand the point here. Like,
Right.
I think the like sex is for most people validation. It's not actually about an orgasm. It's not about pleasure. It's like about feeling validated that you got the attention from the other person. So I just think, man, I was like, whoa, we've really got to rethink our whole idea of sex, to be honest. Because ladies, it should be about your pleasure, not just about like having somebody interested in you, right? Like,
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
No, that's
But
very
you should watch it.
when we think about I will. That sounds good. When we think about the type of like quantity. Oh, there you are.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. When you were thinking about people who talk a lot about quantity, which they could be having a lot of great sex, or that doesn't mean that.
It
you
doesn't
know?
mean that.
So if
yeah.
you're just like having really good sex with yourself, or like you're bettering sex with you and your partner, I mean, I feel like that all is so quality.
Yeah.
So it just
Absolutely.
so don't worry about getting back in the game. Start with
Yeah, you're already in the
Exactly.
game.
you're in the game, babe.
Exactly.
Never stepped
You're
out.
winning the game. You're
Yeah,
already winning
exactly.
too. What game are we playing anyway?
Yeah.
I don't want to.
I don't want to play games.
I don't like games.
I never. Anyway.
Anyways, where can our listeners continue connecting with you after this episode?
You can find me on Instagram. We are UNGIRLs or UNGIRL Uncensored. I also have like a super short, like kind of like a micro podcast called Lies About Sex / Dear UNGIRL. It's going to be on Spotify soon and on Beams, which is a new like platform for like short form podcasts. It's quite cool, just 90 seconds, so like a bite every day. But yeah, mainly on Instagram. And yeah, send me a message if you want some. I don't know, like big sister sex chat. Like that's pretty much what I like to do. So I don't know everything. I don't know a lot actually, but I will laugh about it with you. So yeah,
That's all you really need in the end.
Yeah, something to laugh and chat.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
you know a lot.
Exactly.